Hello, welcome to my channel. My name is Jessica Brooks. I have a child and I am happily married to my wonderful husband. I am here to create some booktube content. Sorry. I like to give you guys an update on books I read during the month, books I plan to read during the month, and books I am currently reading. So in the month of April, I read The Lightning Thief, and I've never been a reader when I was back in my younger years. So I know the Percy Jackson series was a very popular books by that time. So I picked it up and I actually enjoyed it. It was a pretty fun adventure. I learned more about Greek mythology gods, and it was an interesting start of a good series. I also read, give me one second, Sourdough by Robin Sloan. It is a realistic fiction book. It is about a person named, her name is Lewis Clary, and she is a college student who moved into New York, and she's all alone. I'm sorry, San Francisco. That's my bad. She moved into San Francisco, and the only thing that kept her going a little bit, like kept her wanting to stay in the city, was a sourdough that was sold at the bottom of her apartment that she stayed in. It was alright. It wasn't for me. It was pretty boring. I listened to the audiobook when I was helping my baby out, cleaning and all this good stuff. But for anyone who likes to read about food and people growing business and all this good stuff, then I recommend that to you guys. Other than that, the book was not really for me, but it wasn't a bad book. I would never say a book is bad. I would easily say a book was not for me because we all have different tastes in books and things like that. So the next book I read this month was Heaven is for Real. Heaven is for Real by Todd Burpo. If you guys have not heard of this book or the movie, it is a wonderful near-death experience that a child had back, I think it was back in 2000s, early 2000s, that this kid had this near-death experience. It is a wonderful story. It is a very insightful truth about what heaven is about and what God is about, and the love of God for people through a kid's eyes. I gave it easily a 5-star rating on this book. I personally am a religious person, and I will mention books that I read on this channel, but it's no way to persuade you guys to read it. It's up to you guys if you want to read these books that I read, but I'll give you my insights on what I took from it. I also read Holy Moments by Matthew Kelly. Matthew Kelly is a Catholic writer who writes simple guidebooks to spirituality, and it is a very simple writing, and I love his books. Holy Moments was about finding the good times in lives, or creating those holy moments to make your life different. Any choice we make can either be a holy moment or an unholy moment. There's excerpts, little stories in this book that show what happens when we do something different and do something good. It is a very insightful book. But yes, that was my April reading. Now, what I'm currently reading right now is A Court of Thorn and Roses, and as you can see, I'm nearly at the end of this book, and I am loving this series so far. I'm also reading A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. This is my second time reading this book because I absolutely loved it, and I'm in a Discord channel where we have a book club every month, and this was their pick for this month, and I was really happy to pick it up. I'm also currently reading A Well-Built Faith. This is a Catholic's guide of knowing how to read the catechism and what we believe in as Catholics, and it's a very good, simple book to read. And I like it when our religion is simplified, to where anyone can read and understand what's going on. Because I know there's some religious books that are like highly theological, and I personally can't read those and understand what's going on. I can try, but I would not understand. I'm also reading Liner by Chris Coppell. This is for a book tours online that I joined. I am supposed to read this book, make a review on YouTube or wherever I do book reviews, and so far it's a very good book, and it's not a book I typically would pick up. It's actually a thriller, and I think it's this horror book, but so far it has not really scared me. I'm not really into horror, but so far it's pretty fun to read. It's about David Easton, who had a miserable life. He just went through a divorce, and his kids were taken from custody, and he just had no meaning in life whatsoever. So he's decided to take a cruise when he is terrified of the water, 1. 2, he wanted to plan his own suicide. But on this cruise line that he's on, he meets Diana, and they start to bond and become friends. So I'm guessing from where this is going, they are right now trying to figure out what is going on around the ship. One of his one of the people who helps him or serves him on the ship turned out to have some kind of fungus on his stomach or anything like that, and the doctors on board assured him that it's not contagious, it won't spread, but he is suspicious about it. So he went to the ship's library and tried to find information about these things. I'm also reading The Mouse and a Motorcycle. It is a children's book, but I'm reading this in Spanish. I am Latina, and I'm trying to learn my Spanish language. I do speak Spanish, I just have trouble reading it. I can easily read signs and simple text. I can text my mom, but I like to read books as well to make it better. So in this book, little what's his name? Keith and his family ends up staying at this hotel, and it's not the best one they could find. But the dad was really tired from traveling for so many hours, and so he just stayed at the whatever hotel he found. At this hotel, there is a little mouse named Ralph, and many of his family. And he likes to explore at night when he's supposed to be at home. It's kind of like a Ratatouille thing, but it's kind of different. Keith is the boy in this family, and he brought his toys, and he took them out to play. And the one toy that caught Ralph's attention was the red motorcycle. So he tried to play around with it, move around, and he absolutely loved it. So he met Keith, and they're able to talk to each other. And Ralph promised him that he will use this motorcycle only at night, and he can play with it in the morning. And Keith says it's just not day out too late, blah blah, and all this good stuff. But as far until now, Ralph is stuck outside of the apartment because the door closed. So we're trying to figure out how he's gonna get back in.
Every time I try to log in, it tells me
I'm also reading or listening to the audiobook 2, As Long as We Both Shall Live. It is a mystery.
Right.
Matt and his wife were out in a hiking trip, and all of a sudden his wife falls out of the mountains. So he is accused of killing his own wife, and so the whole murder mystery is about figuring out what happened to his wife and if he was cause of it. Now, during the book, I'm not finished with it, but I'm so close to it. It is actually very, very interesting. They did have problems in their marriage. He was cheating on her with someone younger than him, and so she was planning on murdering him and the the lover that he has. And so eventually she's the one who ends up being dead, or so they think. It is possible that she's actually faking her death just to get him in trouble and be able to get him going through all this process he's going to. I'm not done with it, but I'm close to it, so I'll give you guys a wrap up when I finish with the book. So those are all the books I'm currently reading right now. Yes, there are a lot, but I like to read different things, and I try to read as many as I can during a month to be able to reach my goal for Goodreads. Now my TBR for this month is finishing up these books right here, and I also want to read Love on the Brain. I have read The Love Hypothesis by Ali Hazelwood, and I absolutely love the book. So she's one of my favorite artists right now, so we'll see how she goes with this book. I'm also reading Why We Are Catholic. I have to cover this up because it's from the library. Why We Are Catholic by Trent Horn. So I want to learn more about my faith and why I am in my faith. You will find me reading more of these too. I also want to read You've Reached Sam. I see this all over TikTok. I heard it's very emotional and a book I think similar to 1,000 Voice Kisses in a way. And I loved that book so much back in the day when I read it, and so this is what I want to read this month. I also want to read, let me look it up. I want to read Dino Riff by Derek Bourne. I'm sorry if I say it wrong. He is a good friend of mine who I met on TikTok. He is an author of sci-fi, dinosaurs, and all this good stuff. It's going to be my first sci-fi book I read. So I have good hopes for his book. He's a very good TikToker. You find him on TikTok. And he has a series of 3 books, it looks. So there's Dino Riff, Ultimate Agent, and Sora Corp Salvation. Okay. So I'm excited to start reading his books, see how I like them. I'm pretty sure it's pretty good. Here we go. Sorry about that. My dad had to get his laptop. Anyway, so that is my reading wrap up for this video. So, like I said, every month I'm going to try to give a reading wrap up, any current reads that I have, in monthly TBRs. So I hope you like this video. Please like and subscribe, and please check out my book talk. It's going to be down in the description. I have Goodreads. I have a blog. I will let you guys all know down in the description. Alright, see you later.